What's up? Eric Butler here for TatumReport.com, and FINA blocks biological males from competing against women. So sounds pretty good, like sanity might be making a comeback, but there are a couple caveats with this story that we'll get to. It says, FINA, the Elite International Swimming Association, has voted to restrict biological males from competing against biologically female swimmers. The governing board voted for the new gender policy, which went into effect on Sunday. The FINA president stated, quote, "We have to protect the rights of our athletes to compete, but we also have to protect the competitive fairness at our events, especially the women's category at FINA competitions." It goes on. FINA recommended a new policy that would allow transgender athletes to compete. Per the association, quote, "FINA will always welcome every athlete. The creation of an open category will mean that everybody has the opportunity to compete at an elite level. This has not been done before, so FINA will need to lead the way. I want all athletes to feel included in being able to develop ideas during this process." So they have created an entirely new category, which I can only assume will eventually be overtaken by transgender women or men who have transitioned into women. It gets really quite confusing, but I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of women transitioning into men who are going to be able to compete in this category. But here's where it gets better, or perhaps worse. Some biological males will be allowed to compete against women. To qualify, the male swimmer must have male puberty suppressed before age 12 or Tanner stage 2. The males must also continuously maintain their testosterone levels between 2.5 nmol per liter, I suppose. I'm not a biologist, so I don't know exactly what that means, but they want to suppress the puberty and testosterone levels of young boys, which I don't think is going to turn out well. Leah Thomas, the controversial male swimmer for UPenn, would not qualify to swim against women under this new policy. So this is really what it's been for, is it's all about Leah Thomas. We've been hearing about Leah Thomas for months now, and this is really what the new rule is targeting. But unfortunately, I think saying that puberty needs to be suppressed before age 12 or Tanner stage 2, and males must maintain a testosterone level between 2.5 nmol or whatever that is, simply means that they're going to eventually push for even earlier transitions, which transitioning, in my humble opinion, doesn't quite add up at any age, whether you are a former Olympic athlete who transitioned at the age of 60, or a Jeopardy champion, or an assistant health secretary. Which isn't quite as bizarre as trying to trans the kids, but it's also like, you've lived an entire life. You've lived long enough to realize that this doesn't quite make sense, but at least not right now. Maybe in the dark future that you so desire, you might be able to get a uterus transplant or something. These people want to play God so bad, but right now it's just not on the table. You can pretend that you know what's best for you, and that's totally fine. I can do nothing to stop you, but I'm certainly not going to go along with it, and I don't think I'm the only one. But that aside, now that we know male puberty is the problem, not just being born a male, they are going to try to trans the first little boy that colors something in pink or picks up a doll. But we're also told that those things don't really mean anything. They're just social constructs, so you have to go based on the words that they tell you. But I mean, this is all just so confusing. We're hearing stories of little kids transitioning or signaling that they wanted to transition before they could even talk. Shout out to Fox News for that story. But we're told on the one hand that blue and pink are just social constructs and it doesn't make you a boy or a girl. But I can almost guarantee you that as soon as a little boy picks up a doll, they're going to say, oh, well, it's definitely time to trans this little kid. We have to do it before 12 years old so he can compete on the women's swim team. And who knows what this is going to mean for other sports. Like, I mean, we know we're not going to see any women showing up in the NBA, not even the PGA Tour. I mean, these things, they're huge differences. Of course, again, I'm not a biologist, so I can't say for sure, but I think most people realize that there are differences between men and women. And this is all just so confusing, which I suppose is the point, right? So you confuse the kids, you pretend that you have all the answers, and you vilify anybody who tries to steer them back in the direction of basic biology. it's all about control. It's sort of like what we saw with Rona, where the science is going to change every single week and we're not really going to explain it to you. It doesn't have to make sense. Just obey what we tell you. And if you don't, you're an absolute bigot. And we're also getting very mixed messages about age, because we're told that drag is family friendly and drag, kids should be at drag shows, and kids should also learn about LGBTQ lifestyles and sexual identities. But I can pretty much guarantee you that they're not going to take a little boy to a regular strip club where actual biological women are dancing nude on a pole. I don't think that would ever happen. There's a laundry list of things you wouldn't let little kids do. You don't let them drive a car or get tattoos or drink booze or shoot guns or even see certain movies. But for some reason, they're able to decide when they're ready for hormone treatment and, mutilation of their body parts, whether it's, I'll spare you the gory details, but all that said, I guess this is a small victory, but it also kind of feels like it could be a chess move on the part of the ruling class gender ideology establishment to push their narrative on kids at an even younger age so they are able to participate, even though when you go through all that surgery and you do all those hormones and take all those treatments, it doesn't just turn out normal. Again, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a biologist, but I don't think you can start pumping yourself full of drugs and mutilating your body and expect everything to be normal when you turn 18 and compete in the Olympics.
Thank you for watching another Tatum Report video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, subscribe to us everywhere on social media, and if God has put it in your heart, give us a donation. See you on the next video.